So I'm here in the video today to answer the question of whether Sofyan Amrabat has been United's worst signing ever, or at least loan signing if you're going to be picky. He joined for a €10 million loan fee, so that works out to be roughly €15,000 for every minute this guy has spent on the pitch for United. And if I had £1 for every time I had that Mbappe slide video rammed down my throat, then I'd be a rich man as well. While we might not have all been as positive as some when he arrived, most of us were really happy when that signing happened, thinking that we were adding a good bit of depth, at least to our midfield, if not a regular starter. And many of us were thinking this loan spell was going to become permanent at the end of it. But it looks likely now that that's definitely not going to happen. So what has happened? I want to take a look in the video today, guys. As always, drop a like if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new around here, and let's take a look at yet another failed United signing.
You're joking. Not another one?
So in the video I did before Amrabat arrived, I talked about some of the positives that he could bring to this United team, and one of the main ones was his seemingly excellent ability to drop him in deep, receive the ball from the defence, and orchestrate things from there. An area which United desperately needed to improve on. We know that Casemiro is not the best at that, and following on from De Gea's departure as well, we would expect in United to be much better in the build-up areas, but obviously that hasn't really worked out this season.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
I talked about his excellent defensive skills, not just his ability to slide tackle one of the best players in the world, but he seemingly had the knowledge to fill in those defensive gaps left by his teammates. We thought we were getting a proper number 6 in that area. Someone who could build a play from deep and someone who could cover for his other players as well in the defensive areas. We thought we were getting a proper number 6. It wasn't just that stint of the World Cup that caught the eye. It was also his spell at Fiorentina as well, especially the last season before United signed him. We thought he was a very decent prospect. Someone who was ready to take that next step in his career. It wasn't just us that wanted him. It was Klopp at Liverpool that wanted to bring him in as well. But United ended up somewhat reluctantly, but they gave in to Ten Hag and they got that deal done. So what has gone wrong for him at United? And for me, we just simply haven't seen enough of him on the pitch to make a proper decision for ourselves as to whether he's a decent player or not. Yes, people have talked a lot about his recent performances and some mistakes that he's made in that time, but the truth is, he's only really played the last 10 minutes of the games, and you can't really judge a player on that, I don't think.
What's Amrabat doing here? Hey, send him back! Send him back to fucking Italy!
He's only started 4 matches as a CDM for United, not in consecutive games. Is that enough to really judge a midfield player on? His larger spells have come at left back for United, a position we never thought we were going to see Amrabat in. I can remember that Crystal Palace game in the League Cup as if it was yesterday. A game which really had United fans salivating. A game which Amrabat heavily controlled from that left back, inverted into midfield. We thought if he can do this from left back, imagine what he can do if he was given the proper reins as a number 6 at United. But unfortunately, when he did play CDM, the United curse struck.
How's that curse I cursed you with? Cursed?
With doubts over whether Amrabat could be a proper lone 6 for United, but we still persisted on playing him in there, and no one has looked good in that position for United all season long. Probably apart from our young superstar. But just look at him.
No, don't make it gay.
It's no secret that CDM role in Ten Hag's current setup is a death sentence for many players. We've seen Casemiro, Eriksen and Amrabat all really struggling in that position this season to cope with a massive amount of space that they're being asked to cover in this United setup. Recently though, Ten Hag has been reluctant to give Amrabat any proper minutes in this United team, with him last featuring for a full 90 minutes against Forest in the FA Cup, which was months ago now. And he actually had a decent game in that one. For me, I can only think that Amrabat is absolutely stinking the place up in training. How bad must Amrabat be in training for him not to be able to start over Eriksen as a 6 in this current United team? Eriksen has been struggling, but Ten Hag is still happy with Eriksen in there over Amrabat. And that says everything for me right now. But it's a weird one when Ten Hag was the one that pushed for the Amrabat signing. United didn't really want to do it. United were reluctant. They waited until the very end of the transfer window to get that deal done, but Ten Hag got his man. After previously working with him, we know that, but that was many years ago. So what has changed? Like, Ten Hag now all of a sudden just really doesn't want Amrabat in there. He's left him out in the cold now. And while I don't think he's the biggest waste of money the United have ever done in the last decade, but it's definitely another example of the United board and the manager just clearly not really being on the same page. I'm getting another player that doesn't really suit this dysfunctional setup and just trying to wedge him in there. We've had it so many times now over the last decade. It's not just been Ten Hag, it's been any United manager over the last 10 years. Hopefully now that's something that's going to get changed with our saviour now doing his work behind the scenes.
I mean, we need Daniel Radcliffe, not Jim Radcliffe.
But I think the biggest outcome I've had with doing a little bit of research on Amrabat is that it was yet another misprofiling by United, trying to wedge him into a dysfunctional system, and it just was never really going to work from the get-go, I don't think. You can question whether he's of United quality, you can, but I don't think he's as bad as what's been showing throughout the course of this season, and I don't think he has had a proper chance to really make an account of himself either. Whenever he has played, the last 10 minutes of matches recently, he's still given his all. You've got to give him credit for that. But probably just not of United quality, so why did United bring him in the first place? I reckon he'll go off to Serie A again now after this season, go back there, and I think he will perform decently enough. He's not a bad player, no matter how much United are trying to make players look bad recently. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. Do you think he's one of United's worst signings ever? Or do you still think that actually it's more United's fault rather than the player? Let me know down in the comments down below, guys. As always, stay tuned to West Red TV for everything United, and I'll catch you in the next one.